Hello everyone. Last session we created our season and now it's time to define room type and board. These steps are very important because they directly affect your allotment management and room pricing. If you are ready, let's go through this step by step together. First, click on the room and room type button from the menu on the right. On the screen, you can add your room and room types according to your contract. First, you will see the room types section. You can list the room types you have previously defined by pressing F2. Let's say you need a room and room type that hasn't been defined in the first definitions menu before. No problem at all. You can create a new entry from the screen and save it. Once you save it, it will automatically be added to the first definitions as well. So there is no need to go to the first steps and define the new room type and come back to this page again. You can directly define it from here. As I said, the newly defined room or room type will reflect it to the first steps. Once you are done with defining room types, you can continue with the rooms section. Here you will define your rooms. Again, follow the same steps. You can call all defined rooms in the system and select from the pool. You can also customize your room and room type definition on a hotel basis. For example, you can rename your double room as twin room specifically for this contract. This change will only be visible for this hotel and won't affect the general definition. This gives you flexibility to use contract-specific naming. Your selection here is very important. Choose the room and room types you will use in this season. Then move to the third tab, Accommodation table. This is where we will create our accommodation combinations. Why is this so important? Because this table directly affects both your allotment management and your room pricing. An incorrect combination can cause issues in pricing or reservation management throughout the season. That is why it's crucial to enter everything accurately and clearly. There are two ways to create combinations in the accommodation table. First one, use the Create Selected button to manually create combinations based on contract conditions. From the first part, choose the room type. Then from the room section, choose the rooms that you want to match with the related room type. Then click OK button. Second option is Create All. If all room types will be used with all rooms, click Create All for automatic matching. On the screen, you will see the accommodation combinations of the rooms on the right. These combinations will come as previously defined. However, if you want to use a different combination for this season, you can manually update the combinations here. This change will also be valid only for this specific hotel. Let's check the below side. Here you can see for the selected room how many adult, child and infant can stay in the room. These combinations are automatically created once you create the accommodation table. But of course you can change the combinations on the hotel basis. For example, if you want to delete a combination, you can select the line and click the delete button. Or you can add a new line to enter a different combination. Please be careful with the buttons here. As you can see on the screen, we have two different delete, save and new buttons. If you make any changes from the below section, you will use the buttons on the right. However, if you want to change anything on this area, you will use the buttons below. On the screen, we have a special button, Delete Only Adult Combination. When you click this button, the system asks, only adult combinations will be deleted. Do you want to continue? Once you click yes, the system will delete the only adult combinations. In other words, the system will delete the combinations that don't have any child or infant combination. Next, we will enter the board information into the system. Click on the board definition button from the task menu on the right. On the screen, you can list the boards by pressing F2. From here, select the one that is valid for this hotel. You can also customize your boards on an operator basis. You can decline that full board will be used only for the specific operator. You can also change the validity dates. If there are seasonal differences, you can manage them with the date entries. You can create new records, save and copy them or delete them as needed. And just like with the room and room types, if you need a board that hasn't been defined before, you can create it from the screen. Once you save it, it will also be reflected in the general definitions. And that's it. Now you can correctly enter all accommodation and board details for your season. The right combinations and accurate board information are very important. See you in the next video. Bye!